Thanks everyone for joining today's demonstration of Insightly CRM platform for consultants and consulting businesses. I'm Mark, and with me I have Wes. We'll be your host today, and we're delighted you can join us. Today's session will run about 30 minutes. Okay, so first off, your voice matters. So what we want to do is we want to kick off this webinar with a question to you. So what we want to do is we want to focus on what you want to learn most today. So we're prepared to talk about all of these things in the demonstration, but based on your feedback and what you want to focus on, we'll do our best to tailor the demonstration today based on really what's most important to you in this audience. So while you're answering these questions, I want to share an interesting fact you may not be aware of. So Insightly was originally created 10 years ago for consultants. So our founder, Anthony Smith, out in Perth, Australia, had a number of colleagues who were consultants and who were frustrated that they couldn't find a CRM to meet their needs. So this is why, ever since the very beginning, Insightly was built for consultants and has CRM, so pre-sales capabilities, and also project delivery in the same platform, which is a common need for consultants. So today, Insightly has over 20,000 customers from a wide variety of industries around the world, but it all started with consulting, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I see a number of you taking the poll right now, and I'll probably let this settle out here in a second. So we'll go ahead and end the poll right now. And it's interesting. So the leader for today's audience is really dashboards to make data-based decisions, which is really interesting. The second and third place in terms of what's most important to you today is accelerating sales and helping with sales forecasting. And then number three is customer projects delivered on time every time. Okay, the dashboard is interesting. That usually doesn't take number one, but when we go through the demonstration today, we'll be sure to focus on that and how that enables better data-driven decisions. We'll definitely talk about sales and how Insightly CRM is built to help sales convert more of the pipeline and win more business. And then we'll certainly focus on, okay, now we have the customer signed on, how do we deliver that project and make sure that it's on time and the customer is wowed by the communication and the process throughout, in addition to the actual result when you're done with the project. So one of the keys to keeping all of these teams, marketing, sales, and delivery on the same page is what you'll see here with Insightly is it's all built on the same platform. So everyone is always seeing the same data and everyone's on the same page. A key term that we hear a lot from consultants is they find that a lot of customer data is lost in translation between teams. And this is really solved by having one platform that every customer-facing team sees is on the same page. Okay, so let's set an agenda for today. So we have today broken up into three sections. Number one is we have some raw consultant customer data that we're going to share with you. Number two, and this will be the bulk of today, is we'll spend time in the tool in a live demonstration showing how consultants will use Insightly CRM. And then last, we'll have a discussion around any questions that you have throughout the webinar. So toward the bottom of your webinar tool, if you mouse down there, you'll see a Q&A button. So as questions pop into your mind throughout the webinar today, just go ahead and jot the questions down as they come to you. We're not going to address them in real time, but we will address them at the very end and make sure that they're all handled. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the survey and the data. So we have over 6,000 consulting firms using Insightly today. We had a third-party agency conduct a survey. We had 750 organizations respond, and the following data really builds a picture of life before Insightly CRM and then life after CRM, which can give you a sense of the challenges they were looking to address and ultimately the results that they've seen in the real world. So first things first, let's look at the top 5 challenges consulting firms reported prior to using Insightly. So number one, and by a good margin, is difficulty organizing information. This is often because there are many people who interface with various people on the customer side. So as the client relationship evolves over time, it's difficult to keep everyone on the same page. So at the end of the day, things often slip between the cracks and customer relationships can suffer. Let me point your attention to number 3. So difficulty collaborating with team members. So I found this interesting because it absolutely reinforces what we just talked about. The reality of it is you have multiple teams in your organization that interface with the customer. So if we take just sales and delivery, the question becomes, how do you keep those two teams always on the same page as the customer relationship evolves over time? And it's tough to do. Oftentimes each team is using separate tools and are disconnected. The last, of course, what this really funnels up to is it makes it difficult to manage clients effectively and efficiently and make sure the projects are getting delivered on time every time. So now let's fast forward to life after Insightly CRM. So as a result of using Insightly CRM, the 2 big impacts were really around efficiency and productivity. So improving business efficiency can positively affect sales, reduce sales cycles, cut time spent in meetings, going over redundant information, and at the end of the day, reduce overall costs. As a result, consultants focus on what matters, their work with clients, which inevitably leads to higher client satisfaction levels and client growth in terms of revenue. During the demonstration, we will show you how innovative features like integrated project management and workflow automation can help streamline your business processes and increase efficiencies. Next, let's look at the usage reported by our consulting customers. One of the primary goals of any business implementing a CRM, either for the first time or when replacing an existing CRM, is to ensure high adoption, which is often driven by ease of use and making sure that the system is tailored to their business. So historically, customers have given Insightly extremely high marks in this area, as evident in this data here that you're seeing. So almost half, 46% of consulting customers said they use Insightly CRM on a daily basis. Another 36 use it 2 to 3 times per week. So all in, over 90% of all of our Insightly customers use Insightly at least on a weekly basis. These are unusually high engagement marks for a CRM company, which is great to see. Okay, so let's switch gears and let's set up the demonstration that we're going to go through today. So Insightly CRM is built to help every customer-facing team in the company see as much about the customer as is relevant to them, keeping everyone on the same page. Today, we're going to show you how to do this for a consulting company. We're going to show you how 4 different roles use Insightly Marketing and Insightly CRM to view customer data and engage the customer in the most meaningful and productive way possible at every touch point so they can better manage and grow their business. So let's go over each role. So let's start with Maria. Maria is the managing partner. So what she's really most interested in is understanding comprehensive dashboards and data to see how each of her functions are performing. So this goes across marketing, sales, and delivery, ultimately making sure their customer satisfaction is where it needs to be, extremely high. Let's look at Jessica in the lower left-hand corner. So she's the marketing director. She's focused on running marketing campaigns to build a steady stream of pipeline to enable Chris's team to meet their revenue growth targets. So let's look at Chris right in the middle at the bottom. So he's the practice director. He's focused on finding new clients, growing existing clients, and reviving old clients. His team needs to manage leads, opportunities, without letting any detail fall through the cracks. As a result, he's focused on closing more deals faster. Let's focus on Tom in the lower right-hand corner. So Tom is the project leader. He's tasked with delivering exactly what was sold to the client, on time, every time. So he needs as many details about the project as possible, all the nuances of the project. This will allow him to manage the deployment of the consulting team that is going to deliver on this project. Okay, so these are the 4 roles that we're going to focus on as we weave through the demonstration. So Wes, let's go ahead and jump into the demonstration. So as Wes is pulling this up, we're going to look at the CRM implementation of a consulting company. So the first profile that we're going to focus on is Maria. Maria is the managing partner. So she's overseeing the business at large. So the question is, what does Maria care about? And this ties directly to the poll results of what you want to focus on today. So as a managing partner, I'm guessing marketing campaigns, what's working, what's not, revenue, project delivery times. These are the things that I imagine Maria is probably focused on.
Yeah, Mark. I mean, one of the biggest challenges that Insightly solves for is giving executives and managers the ability to quickly see their team's data at a high level in order to easily track each team's KPIs, deal progressions, project delivery statuses, and overall customer satisfaction.
Okay, this is great. So question for you, how are these cards and dashboards created? They look beautiful optically, but are they complicated to create? Is this like a Domo or Tableau type of setup where you need to go get licensed and certified for this? Does someone need, like a business leader, need technical help in creating these?
Actually, no. Like all of Insightly, these dashboard cards were designed with simplicity in mind. So Maria does not need any type of technical experience or with other software tools to utilize these drag and drop dashboards. Everything's point and click, and it's all about finding the right filters.
All right. Okay, so now if I put myself in Maria's shoes, it's one thing for me to understand the business, but now I need to align my team. So how can I share these dashboards to empower my leaders to make data-driven decisions and run the business intelligently?
Yeah, absolutely. Maria can share these cards with members of her team, as well as other members of the organization, which solves for a very common problem in consulting businesses, which is the ability to easily pass and share information across the various teams. And to that point, we're going to continue to highlight how Insightly naturally promotes those collaborative types of functions between teams, such as information access and sharing. The individual cards, as well as the entire dashboards, can be shared amongst the teams to ensure data passing success. So as you can see here, I can just quickly select the individuals on the team I want to share this card with, or I could share the entire dashboard itself.
Yeah. Okay, this is great. I know a lot of our consulting customers really like this. One of the common things that we'll hear, especially from consultants, is that different people, different leaders within the organization want to see the data in a different view, slightly different than other people. So I believe with the dashboards, each individual leader can also tailor and tweak the way they're looking at the data to fit how they want to see the business. Is that right?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, so let's shift gears. Let's now focus on Jessica, and Jessica is the marketing director. So let's focus and let's look at how she uses Insightly marketing. So this is a brand new application that Insightly just launched a few months ago, and it's on the same platform as Insightly CRM. Is that right?
That's correct. We call it the Unified Data Platform.
All right, sounds great. So how will Jessica use Insightly marketing?
So what we're looking at right now is where Jessica will ultimately end up being, which is the dashboards of all of the campaigns that she's running out of our marketing tool. She has on the left-hand side her prospects, lists, her emails, journeys, and then her dashboards. Right now, where we are on the dashboards is her ability to see all of the hard work that she's doing with the lists she's building and the emails she's sending out and the journeys that she's running to ultimately build that pipeline for the sales team and ultimately track the success rates of those campaigns, as well as somebody from sales point of view would like to appreciate where is the revenue coming from, right?
Yeah.
That's all things that we're going to be able to leverage with Insightly marketing, being on one unified platform. Right?
Yeah. Okay. I want to just double click on this for a second based on the poll results that we had. And people were most focused on dashboards. Sure. One of the things that I hear a lot from marketing organizations, and this was a statement made years and years ago, is that I know I'm wasting half my marketing budget. I just don't know which half, right?
Yeah.
So these type of dashboards and the ability to bend and flex around campaigns as Jessica launches them, I imagine be really valuable. So she can tell in real time the marketing money that she's spending on certain campaigns, what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
So she can pull the plug on the stuff that's not working and reinvest and double down on the stuff that is working. Is that how you see it as well?
Absolutely, because everything's tied together ultimately. So where she's putting all of her time and effort into these marketing campaigns, the data flows right into the CRM. So the prospects and the leads and the opportunities, that's all tied together. And so because that data is seamlessly handed off, she's able to track the success rates of those campaigns and find the ones that aren't doing so well. So if you look at the dashboard here, you can see the promotional video only has about 3 opportunities that it's generated over the course of, say, a year or a quarter. But the case study video, that one's really hitting home. So maybe we should start putting more effort into case study videos.
Right? That makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of sense. Okay.
And getting into how she's going to be using the tool specifically, she's going to ultimately leverage the list building tool to generate these dynamic lists where she can have all of her prospects automatically brought in to, say, a webinar list where she wants to invite people to a webinar. And because they're dynamic in nature, they will automatically bring in people to the list based off of their criteria, right? So if they are clicked webinar campaign, they come right into that webinar list.
This is beautiful, right? So this is coming back to the data that we saw from consultants. This is all about efficiency and productivity.
Yes.
So she's not manually updating lists. She sets this campaign, lets it go, and as people are registering or doing the actions, the marketing is automatically kicking in and launching those campaigns for her.
That's correct.
That's
and
awesome.
what's lovely is that these lists are always open if they're dynamic in nature. So they're just waiting for folks maybe on the sales team to put them into the list. She doesn't always have to do all the hard work. If she's got folks that are managing these people in the CRM and they go ahead and click on add to webinar campaign, then they get dumped right into that list and then they go right into that journey and they get that lovely email that she took time to build.
All right. Beautiful. I know one of the common things or themes, I should say, that we hear from consultants is they find their marketing can be lumpy.
Yes.
And that is when the business is doing really good, they don't find a need to do marketing and they're so busy just taking care of the business. Then when business is light, they spin marketing back up and then they'll create a bunch of demand gen. But what this creates is kind of an oscillating revenue stream, which hinders growth.
Yes.
And also is, really difficult to plan from a capacity standpoint to manage the business. So tell me how this type of tool can help even that demand gen out so they can create a consistent stream of pipeline.
Absolutely. So if we look at, this is that email template for, say, that webinar invite. Let's go ahead and put those folks that we just talked about in that webinar invite list into a journey and have them get that email. So every time someone comes in from the website or if somebody's added into this from the CRM, they're constantly bringing in folks to these marketing efforts where we can go ahead and have the system do things like adjust scores and update values in the CRM and notify the sales reps. So that way the pipeline that they're generating is happening on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And then ultimately with the goal of, as you can see at the bottom of this journey, converting them to a lead.
Yeah. Okay. So as soon as the prospect does enough things and they hit a predefined threshold level, they get automatically converted to a lead and sent over to Chris, the practice director, and his team. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly right. And they are able to come into Insightly and they're able to see all of that marketing hard work pay off by coming in and looking at their dashboards, right? So dashboards was a point of interest to all the folks on the phone. As a sales rep, as a sales engineer, I have my own dashboard cards I leverage in Insightly to help me manage my day and my conversations I'm having with either internal employees or my clients. In this case, we had Jessica who put together that lovely webinar campaign, and we want to be able to see all the folks that were ultimately converted as a result of that.
Oh, yeah. And
so I can just go ahead and take a look at one of these leads as they come in and continue on my day.
Beautiful. All right. Okay, so let's shift gears to Chris, the practice director. And let's focus on how he uses Insightly CRM. So he's responsible, him and his team are responsible for taking the qualified leads and moving them through to opportunities and ultimately winning business and hitting growth revenue targets. Okay, so what does Chris care about? Contacts, leads, opportunities. Let's step inside Chris's shoes and see how he uses Insightly.
Absolutely. So as you were going through that, I was just kind of doing a slow scroll here, showing some of the wonderful dashboards and metrics that folks like Chris can leverage when they come into Insightly to begin their day-to-day, right? So they're managing their leads, they're looking at their renewal rates, they're looking at their new sales, their big accounts, their top 10 deals. Where should I focus my time and effort every day? And getting back into the idea of someone who's on the sales side, I want to know which leads I need to go after immediately. I can either leverage the dashboards for that, or if I want, I can go into the actual leads object itself and take a look at my, say, webinar leads list view. So all of these folks, they essentially registered for our webinar. So this is a great place for me to have warm conversations with the folks that have registered for the webinar. If I want to have a conversation with them, I can just pop open that blade style view, never have to lose my page, and take them through that process. Because as we know, consultants have different processes for the different types of engagements they have with their clients.
Yeah, absolutely. What's interesting too is speed. So the speed in which sales follows up with leads matters. So am I looking at this list right here? It's all in the same data. So as soon as the lead qualifies, it gets sent over to sales, it's automatically right in there so they can follow up in a super timely manner and be really responsive.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what about lead and opportunity management? So are these processes set in stone, or can they be tailored and configured based on each business? Can you show us how that works?
Yeah, another way we create efficiency for our consulting sales reps like Chris is by ultimately making it easy for them to follow their company's unique sales process, utilizing the pipelines and stages for both leads and opportunities. So let's say Chris connects with Amanda here over at Google, and uncovers, through his amazing sales abilities that, there's ultimately an opportunity to win Amanda's business. Chris will then convert this lead to an opportunity. And once again, all of the information that was carried over from the marketing and the lead will carry over into the opportunity record itself. Right. And so then from there, he would want to go into his opportunities, part of the tool to manage it. And so as we can see, we have a lovely Kanban style view here of all of Chris's open opportunities. And there is Amanda Burton's IT opportunity that we had just converted. So he went through the various statuses, qualified it. All the data moves into the opportunity, his files, his notes, his emails, all of the phone calls, everything they had from that initial conversation goes right into the opportunity.
Oh yeah, this is great. Would you mind just double clicking on this blade interface? I know you've kind of popped in and out of it a couple times, but when we talk to consulting organizations, one of the big focal points for them is efficiency and productivity. So tell us a little bit about the blade interface and how it works and how it helps with efficiency.
Sure. So the blade interface is great because I can maneuver through the different lists of all of my record types. So if I have all my open opportunities, all my new biz opportunities, I can view them in Kanban or I can view them in grid format. And I can quickly see where I'm at with all these different types of opportunities that I'm managing without having to lose my place. I know in typical legacy CRMs, you have to open up a million tabs. As you can see, I have a few tabs myself, but that's just so I don't have to click everybody to death during the demo.
Right on. Very cool. Okay. So Chris's team closes the opportunity, wins the business, and now he immediately creates a project that automatically creates a series of milestones and fires off a series of task notifications to Tom, who will be managing the project from day to day.
That's right.
So let's take a look at what Tom and his team sees as the project leader.
Absolutely.
So Tom gets alerted, first of all. So Chris's team wins the business. Tom's team gets alerted about a new project and a new win and receives all the relevant details. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right.
So if we have Amanda Burton's project, we need to find it. We can always go to our Insightly search tool, and we can see here we have our Amanda Burton project that we've converted from the opportunity. And then from inside of the project, I can manage all the information that was passed directly from the sales opportunity as we converted it. But if I didn't want to have to search for it and I wanted to just be able to go into my project management dashboard, right, which would be helpful for someone like Tom, the project manager, I can see all of the projects that have been assigned to me this week or today. I can start to allocate resources if I'm a project director. So this is a very useful tool for people who are on the project management side to start tracking things like project hours and billable hours, and what are my net profits, and how many hours do we have remaining by project. Ultimately leveraging our calendar integration for that resource management part of the tool.
Capacity is so tricky for consultants, and I know that's a big part of how they use Insightly. Let's do this. Let's pivot a little bit based on the poll and the desire to see more about dashboards. One thing, let's just double click here. So in the upper left-hand corner, you said projects assigned to me. That's kind of a small little interface. What if I want to make that bigger?
Yeah, absolutely. We can pop that wide. We can pop that open. And if we want, we can, add in different date fields. We can add in different columns. We can add in due dates. We can add in the people who were on the sales team. We can add any type of requirements or information that we want to see on the dashboard.
So all the data that we need to see to manage that is right there at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
And then, to your point, you're clicking on this right now. So at a glance, you can pull in the details, and then you can close the details, close the blade view for me.
Absolutely.
And then boom, now I'm right back at the dashboard.
Exactly.
Efficiently.
Perfect to that point, Mark. If I'm looking at my resource management graph, I see Jenny and myself, we have quite a bit on our plate for the next month. But Paul and Alyssa, it looks like they have some time. So all I have to do to see how many hours are required, so 100 hours, now I can allocate 50 hours to Paul, and I can allocate 50 hours to Alyssa and feel okay about it without having to go back and forth through a bunch of different tabs and records. Right? Everything's really easy to get to.
Yeah, well, this is great. And if we raise our perspective a little bit, one of the challenges for consulting firms is like, when do I hire? To make sure that I have the right capacity. So this can certainly inform those decisions around capacity.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's look at what he needs to see in the records. We'll flip off dashboards. So he wants to see order information. Does he want to see requested delivery dates? What does Tom and his team need to see?
Absolutely. So Tom and his team, they'll dive into the actual projects part of the tool, right? So on the left-hand side here, we have our projects object. We can select that guy, and we can come in and we can see all of the different projects. Jenny's team's projects due this month, projects due this quarter. We can create list views for all of this, right? So if I want to see this in Kanban, just like our leads or just like our opportunities, I could certainly do so there. But if I want to take a look at, say, Amanda's project and get into the details of it, I have all my information here. But where Insightly shines in the market is our ability to connect everything through that process, right? So our relationship linking, our opportunity linking, our organizationship linking, all the notes and files, everything that existed from the lead to the op is now in the project.
Okay, let me just pause here for a second. So all the marketing activities, all the sales activities, and all the information collected from the client by the sales team is all in one system, so that Chris's team on the delivery side is set up for success. There's no missing data from the client interactions.
No missing data whatsoever. And what's great about Insightly being able to help facilitate the project delivery process with all that information easily at their fingertips, they can leverage the pipelines for the various types of projects that they're doing. So if they have a different pipeline for an IT engagement or a different pipeline for marketing engagement, they can have Insightly mirror their steps. And when they change their stages, have activity sets fire off and be assigned to the right people. So nobody is never not aware of what's going on with a particular project.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
All right. Great to hear. So thank you so much for taking us through the demonstration. Is there anything else that you wanted to share in the demonstration?
Sure. Just real quick, I think, where Insightly helps a lot of consultants is being able to leverage our custom objects for support tickets and time tracking. So feel free to, reach out to us, reach out to sales for us to kind of help you understand how you can leverage custom objects for, managing your consulting engagements.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Great. So the last piece of data that you might find helpful is the customer reported ROI data. So this can certainly inform your decision at the end of the day to explore whether Insightly might be right for your business. The good news is we have lots of data on ROI by industry. Consulting and manufacturing experience the fastest ROI according to our customer data. So for consulting in particular, 48% of our consulting customers realize positive ROI in less than 3 months. All in, 95% of all of our consulting customers calculated a positive ROI from Insightly within 1 year. So the reason for this is very simple. Insightly CRM helps solve fundamental challenges that weigh businesses down, obstruct client service. With these obstacles removed, consultants have the freedom to excel and grow their business and build deeper relationships with their customers. Okay, so this wraps up the webinar prepared portion. And now what we can do is we can see what kind of questions have come in from the audience, and we'll go ahead and address those now. Okay, great. So first one is, what type of training do you offer for new customers? Okay, good question. So we wanted to keep the webinar fairly concise, but this is actually a really interesting point that, that we spend a lot of time on here in Insightly. So we have a philosophy here, and that is that the training and success process is as important as the product itself. So we do all of our training internal here. So for new customers that sign on, they're assigned a dedicated client success manager that gets to know their business and their goals, the teams that are going to be using it, and those processes. And what they do is they build a highly tailored training program to make sure that new customers are successful very, very quickly. And we know when customers are successful very quickly, they stay with us for long, long periods of time. We can grow together in that partnership. So we put a lot of energy into that. We do that all in-house right here in San Francisco. It's a great process, and customers really give us really good feedback on it. So it's great. Okay, question number 2, how customizable is Insightly? How do I tailor it to my business? Wes, do you want to take this one?
Absolutely. So Insightly is really designed to mirror your business processes. It's not the other way around. We built the tool with flexibility in mind to be able to adhere to the different types of workflows that your business needs to have automated, the way you want to visualize the data, and the way that you want to establish the relationships with your client.
That's great. Okay, and the third and last question that we have on here is, do you have a mobile app as well? Interesting question.
Definitely do.
Yeah, Wes, you want to take it?
Absolutely. The mobile app is actually designed to mirror what you see inside of the web app. So typically, we see a lot of folks use our mobile app to scan business cards, to be reminded about meetings, to take notes, to record calls, to make calls out of the app, to track activity, to send out notifications to folks on site. Really just, keeping that entire 360-degree view of your clients in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I think even in the demonstration, you showed the Insightly marketing tool,
Mm-hmm.
and how you can preview email messaging going out on a mobile device.
Absolutely.
So mobile is a big part of what we do. Mm-hmm. All right. So that wraps up our Q&A. So I wanted to say thank you for joining us today. And if you would like to explore Insightly and see if it's right for your business, by all means, reach out to us. The phone number right there and the email address. We'll be happy to help you understand how you can use Insightly and how it can be tailored to your business to achieve similar results of our other 6,000 plus consulting companies. Again, thank you so much. We'll sign off for now.